the Nightly Fix, powered by Bullet Club Media. Please head to our YouTube channel if you're there. Please like and subscribe if you follow us on Twitter. Please like, follow, share, retweet, all of that good shit as we try to grow this thing. And we've been able to grow it, but we need to grow more. And if you like and subscribe, you get everything that Bullet Club Media offers, including today on a Wednesday, Brian's World drops tomorrow. Tomorrow, D-Block Podcast, Friday, Show and BK. You get everything you need right here, Bullet Club Media. And if you do not do so,
what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna make you go grocery shopping with Steven Serda. And I'm telling you that
that's a rough one.
That is
a real rough one.
That's a rough one. And listen, with somebody with experience, me and Serda once went grocery shopping at a hen house for 40 minutes, and it's not enjoyable.
No, we didn't. We've never done that before.
Just shut up, man, and just go with it. Man, be a part of the bit.
If we did, hen house is the last place we would go. It's the most expensive grocery store on the planet.
I knew he had something for it. I don't
like HEB.
Oh yeah, I mean it's very high V-esque.
Yeah, I'm a big high V fan. High V, Aldi. That's
Constantino. You're an Aldi. My mom does
price
Aldi.
Chopper can be okay, just depending on which price chopper you go to.
What?
That's about it.
It's got to be a chopper. I mean, if you got your chopper shopper card, yeah. I don't. Hen house. Let me tell you what Hen House has. Now this is one of the things I do miss about living in Kansas City, Osita, and that is, I had. Let's see, Hy-Vee, Price Chopper. I had 3 different grocery stores that were 3 to 6 minutes away from me. I mean, to take my pick. Yeah, I could just go to any of them. And yes, they are very expensive at Hen House, but they have the best rotisserie chickens that you can find. And they've got different flavors. They got a lemon pepper. They've got a smoked one. They've got a mesquite one. They've got different. It's not just your regular run-of-the-mill one. They got some great rotisserie chickens. Here in Houston, I got 12 to 15 minutes to the closest grocery store that I can.
Yeah. And it's always an HEB or a Kroger.
I'll be honest.
There's a Price Chopper a minute away. There's
I
live both 5 minutes away from me.
I live deep into the area that I'm in, but yeah, there's an HEB. There's one HEB that's 20 minutes away one way, and then there's the other one that's 12 to 15 minutes away. There used to be like a smaller one. It's called Harvest Market. They shut that bitch down. It was a good 7 minutes, but it was like a hen house. It was so much more expensive. Yeah. But yeah, that's the distance. But no,
there's also a Trader Joe's like across the street from my house.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about Trader Joe's.
What?
Every time I walk in there, it's just.
I like it.
It's what?
It's just not me, you know. It's not my
That's
style.
weird. I would think Trader Joe's would be Osita.
I would think so too.
I think I'm just so indoctrinated into the world of HEB, being a Texan and living here my entire life, that HEB is my go-to. So when I see something different like this Trader Joe's, I'm like,
So what do you like? What, you can't walk in Walmart? Like it's like,
I fucking hate Walmart.
I agree with you on that,
but I don't like Walmart, but I go there because it's cheap. I don't like certain things. Like I try not to go to Walmart if I can.
I'm with you. I don't like Walmart. And I will be honest, maybe there's a part of bouginess in me. I don't like Walmart, but it is not because of where I'm from. Or like I don't have it.
I liked Walmart back when it was 24 hours. After COVID, it seems like it forgot its main purpose of being open 24 hours. So now I'm just like, I don't really like Walmart.
Can we?
Like, you were cool when I could go there like after the bar closed when I needed to go grab some shit real quick.
Oh, I went when I worked overnights. That was a good spot to go.
Yeah, when I was a bartender, it was a perfect spot.
It does suck that we have no 24-hour grocery stores anymore. Like, that's something that just went away during COVID and never came back.
Never came back.
And it is dumb. Like, how did they all collectively decide that nobody needed to go to the grocery store at 2 a.m.?
There's got to be a Jerry Jones in this that says, "Fucking man, we're missing out on some cash. We could be the spot."
We're only going to be open. We're only going to be open from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. You know what I mean? And we'll open up for 5 hours. Let's do that.
I don't think you have to do that. I just think like Target could just break out and say, "Hey, man, we're going to be 24 hours."
Aren't people still boycotting Target or whatever?
I just threw one out. I bet you if that bad boy was 24 hours, they get a little bit more business.
There's also a Target across the street from me, so I'm not boycotting right now.
No, I'm not either. My brother-in-law works for Target as well in Minneapolis. But no, I probably where I am now, I go HEB followed by Target. I don't want to say that I don't want to make it sound like Walmart's beneath me, but I will completely trade in the ridiculous lines and just like it's just a wild house in that bitch, right? And I'll trade that in for. I know Target costs a little bit more for me to get my toiletries, but I feel like I feel like my shopping experience is much calmer and better. And I go in there and I get out and I spend my extra $10 that I'm gonna spend. Now I will order me some Walmart. I will order me some Walmart to pick it up curbside or to have that bitch dropped off at the crib. I will do that. But going in, like I remember I had to go in on an Easter to try to find like or something around
on weekends. It's a nightmare.
It was one of the worst experiences of my life. It's good. Like for me, I've dropped Wendy's, not Wendy's, Denny's and IHOP. I've gotten bougie. I cannot, I won't eat breakfast.
You good for Denny's?
Yeah, I think so.
If I'm gonna eat garbage breakfast food, I'm going to Waffle House.
Yeah, I don't think I've passed up Waffle House. Yes, but
so you drop Denny's and IHOP, but you accept Waffle House?
There's just something a little different about Waffle House. Again,
the black eye that you receive upon entering is what's different about Waffle House. What are you talking about?
We're just talking about food. I've never received a black
Waffle House is like it's just it's the flat top that probably just hasn't been cleaned very well
at all. Not very well.
No, but it does. It's still a strong diner feel. That's a little different. Like Denny's and I remember, and this maybe came into the little bougie nature of things. I remember
no, you are not bougie because you want Waffle House. Waffle House is beneath Denny's.
Again, I'm not saying Waffle House is one that I would jump to get. I'm telling you, I will be an accepting of Waffle House. Let's bang out the Waffle House. Like Waffle House, Cracker Barrel. Like those are probably my lows. And another one is probably because Waffle House I just haven't banged out often as much as the others. When I was in Tennessee, I would go to Waffle House all the time. It's all right. But there was some point where for me, my low was First Watch. And I had come to that spot. I'm a big breakfast brunch person. That is probably my favorite meal.
Yeah, I make it at home. Yeah, because I'm good at cooking. I just make good breakfast at home.
Steve, that was not an invitation for you to tell us about you and your cooking skills, which I drop every level every time you speak about it because
I made a pastrami breakfast bagel the other day. It was just unbelievable. It's amazing.
Thanks, guys. That
was interesting. I'm not gonna lie. It was just we were having this conversation. He was like, "By the way, I cook."
Yeah.
By the way, I cook. Well.
By the way, I feel like it's understood that each one of us has probably cooked a brunch at home before. And we weren't talking about that at all.
I don't go eat brunch at a lot of places. Brunch kind of sucks, honestly.
You suck. It doesn't kind of
brunch it's always super packed. It's always you always got to wait. And I'm always I could make this for us at home in 20 minutes.
Again, your hatred of people does not mean that for you it sucks. Your hatred of people. I like people. I don't mind it. All right. I don't always have to wait. Like Room 39 in Kansas City, love it. Great brunch spot. There's some great spots in Westport, Succotash, a great spot for a little brunch out there. There's some fantastic spots out there in Kansas City. Some great spots here in Houston as well. But that's my low end. When I'm usually like going to get breakfast or something, like, you know, I want to go get something. I remember I had not had IHOP in a while, and I'm telling you, when our asses would go out, me and my own boys, we would go out, we would all end it. And Osita doesn't know what I'm talking about, but Serda in Independence, right over there by the mall, at 39th Street exit, there's an IHOP up there. And on our way back to Blue Springs, we would all stop at that IHOP every single night that we went out, and I would get a Colorado omelet with my little pancakes on the side, and I would fuck it up. Man, this was about 10, 11 years ago. I went to an IHOP, we took the kids to the IHOP. We said, hey, man, let's just hit a quick one real quick. IHOP's close. Hit this IHOP, Osita. I tried to order what I normally ordered. That shit was gross. Like that. I mean, not even gross, but you could just tell, like, shit, man, my son was back there cooking that. Like the pancakes wasn't great. Like you could tell it's just some fucking teenagers back there throwing them eggs. They threw it. I was like, Courtney, never again. And Jenny's the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the same when you're not like drunk or like tipsy heading home. But I would still eat some pancakes from IHOP. But like I have had it like within the past few years, and I thought the same thing. Like
I'm like, yeah, man, let me go. I got the ride.
I will say, have y'all probably never been here, but in San Antonio, there's a place called Jim's, and it's like a diner that they have everywhere. Like they don't really have. I mean, they have Waffle Houses, they have Denny's, they have IHOP, but like Jim's is where it's at. It's like a really, really, really good diner, and you can tell it's good because all the chefs and all the waitresses are just these like middle-aged white and black women that have just like seen that they're like battle tested. You know what I mean? It looks like you could still smoke cigarettes in there.
Did you say battle tested?
Yeah, they look like they've been battle tested. They look like they've had a hard life, you know. But it's that hard life that softens their insides, and their service is very loving. It's very matriarchal. You know what I mean? They're just like, hey, baby, how are you? You doing okay? I'm just like, ma'am, I'm doing great now. Thank you so much for asking. You know. Then they serve you like a chicken fried steak with eggs on it. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. Like I said, man, you know, Cracker Barrel and Waffle House probably my floor right now. I can't do Denny's. I can't do Denny's late. I can't. I used to mess it up. Give me a Dagwood special. You know, give me a whatever. I can't mess with it no more.
I haven't had Denny's in 15 years.
Oh, I can't remember the last time. I'm over it. I can't do it. But I did want to get here while we're rolling. There's a little drama in the sports world we got to hit to, but big news is not surprising. Joe Flacco's old ass. They went and set him down again. How is Joe? Are me and Joe the same age? I'm trying to think.
Ancient, yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Joe's like 42.
Is he older than me?
He's 40.
Fuck, he's younger. All right. So. Joe's got. I'm older than Joe by maybe a year or so, but Joe, they've set his ass down, and maybe this will be the end for Joe. Maybe Joe walks off, or hell, why not? Joe just keep taking this money. I think people would like him as a backup, but Dillon Gabriel gets the nod. He is going to be the starter, and good luck. Go ahead. You're going to London on this long trip in which the Minnesota Vikings and Brian Flores is already there waiting for you. Brian Flores. Nobody puts more pressure on quarterbacks than him, and he is there ready to light your ass up. So we'll see what that looks like. But Dillon Gabriel is the starter, and I'm curious from you guys, and I mean, we take this conversation where to go, but to start it, to you, is the bigger story that Dillon Gabriel is the starter or that Shedeur Sanders is still third string, and when will he get his opportunity? Is it Dillon Gabriel or is it Shedeur?
I mean, I think it's still in Gabriel. Like, I don't want to take this moment away from him as a player just because the Browns decided to also draft Shedeur Sanders. I think they probably think that Dillon Gabriel's more ready NFL quarterback right now, or they at least like his skill set a little bit more than what Shedeur has shown. And I don't think Shedeur was great in the playing time that he got in the preseason. Like, so I don't think either one of them looked like great quarterbacks.
Serda, are you confident that he got the nod because he's better? Are you confident
I would hope so, because I think Kevin Stefanski's a good coach. I think the Browns ownership is a joke, but I would hope that Kevin Stefanski is a smart enough coach to make that decision himself and not just be strong-armed by the Haslams into making that decision.
I do want to get your thoughts on this more, but Osita, and you are the resident.
I'm the resident.
You're the resident conspiracy theory fella that I know. When
I'm very good at that.
And we've talked about the Shedeur Sanders, the Brown stuff from when he was drafted, and all that shit. Are you confident that this is because he's better than Shedeur?
I got a couple of questions before I can answer that. How long has Dillon been in the NFL? Is this his first year?
Oh, they're both rookies. Dillon was drafted in the third round, and then
Shedeur was drafted when Shedeur was drafted. Yeah,
in the fifth round. Yeah.
I
by the way, I think that has a big part on why why Dillon Gabriel got the nod. I think because of where he was drafted, he walked in first day ahead of him.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, I don't know what happened in that interview process. Lord knows, only God knows. There's only three people that know, like Shedeur, whoever interviewed him, and God. Because everything else that we've been getting seems to be skewed by some sort of bias or biases, and I don't know, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and I feel like Shedeur apparently dropped the ball big with this first impression, man. I don't know, but I mean, I like Steven said, I'm glad this kid is getting his day and stuff like that, but it does seem a little bit weird that they're not really giving Shedeur a chance.
Listen, I don't know what they're giving him a chance or not, Serda and Osita. I don't trust any of it. And I'm not going to sit here and 100% say that Dillon Gabriel's not better. Just the entire process that got those two players there and where they were drafted and everything that surrounded it, there is no way that I trust that politics in some form or fashion didn't play a part in this. It's just hard. Like, I could be dead wrong, but it's hard for me to be convinced that in no way that this is just straight up, right? I think it's weird that, that Shedeur is still the third string quarterback. I'm not sure what would happen if Dillon Gabriel had to come out, if Flacco would then go back in and Shedeur wouldn't. I don't know. But I just don't trust anything because the process is, I feel like some people in the organization wanted Shedeur and some people didn't. I don't feel like I feel like every one of their draft picks, for the most part, most people were on the same page of understanding why they took him. I think Shedeur is different than anybody else they drafted. I think Shedeur is like, what? Somebody was forced to take Shedeur. I don't know if it was Andrew Berry, the GM. I don't know if it was Kevin Stefanski, the coach, who wanted him. I don't know the way Kevin talks. I don't know if it feels like it was thrown on his lap. I don't know if it's the Haslams, like Serda has kind of intimated. I don't know who it is, but in some form or fashion, not everybody was all in on, all right, yeah, let's go draft him after we just drafted a quarterback 2 rounds before, all right, to come in. So the whole process, I don't trust. And I do think people understand how difficult things may be even more if, we saw more of Shedeur and what that would mean for Dillon Gabriel. And if he's the second string quarterback, how much more like people would be calling for him? Because there are many people, and I would say probably the majority of people than me following some of, Cleveland radio and Cleveland sports that want to see Shedeur. And that really jumped up after Shedeur's first game against the Panthers. Then he had the injury, and then Dillon Gabriel came in. So to me, it is hard for me to believe that politics is not playing some kind of role in this with somebody.
To me, let's say that their general manager and Kevin Stefanski, like they got Dillon Gabriel was their guy or whatever. And then in the 5th round, the Haslams are shocked that Shedeur is still there. And they're like, you guys have to go take Shedeur. Like, let's do this. We know Deshaun Watson is it. Like, we know we're done with him. Like, we know that was a huge mistake or whatever. So they go out and do it. But like, I just think I'm not going to like say that there isn't obvious like politicking going on in like what happened to Shedeur Sanders and him coming into the NFL. Like, it seems like obvious that there was something going on there. But I also think it sucks that now Dillon Gabriel, like the rest of his rookie season, this is going to happen every single time. Every single time he sucks or has an up and down performance because he's a rookie quarterback who's trying to prove that he can make it in the NFL. This is all anybody's going to talk about. And I think it's really shitty for him as a player. Like, it is. Because he's just not even going to get a chance. Everybody's just going to assume that he sucks. Let's give Shedeur a chance. Well, what happens if Shedeur comes in and he just fucking sucks too? Like, it's just, we're just going to do this all season. And I just think it sucks for him as a player during his rookie year in the NFL.
Oh, it does. It sucks for him. It probably sucks for both of them. And the odds are with what they have around him, they aren't going to be good. That's probably the odds that the Browns aren't a good football team.
I mean, I think they're both probably not going to be good.
But I just like the whole situation feels odd and weird. Like, I mean, there was nobody that had Dillon Gabriel rated higher than Shedeur Sanders. But I do think because he was drafted earlier, he walked into the door with a higher standing and higher on the depth chart. And it was going to be a lot that would have to change that. And if Shedeur's first performance, which that game against the Panthers, which obviously we know was against their 2s and 3s, and we see the Panthers stink. But, yeah, I mean, you would have thought, all right, if he didn't make any movement then, a guy who was rated ahead of him by everyone and then came out there and showed poise and made big-time throws in his first opportunity, then it raised the question of, all right, well, what the fuck would he have to do to move up ahead of him? By the way, do you think Shedeur gets his turn to start some games this year? Do you think that occurs?
I think Dillon Gabriel would have to like get hurt.
Yep. And to me, I agree with you. And for some reason, maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe it's unfair to Dillon, but I think that's unfair. Like, I think if you're the Browns, one, I don't think Dillon Gabriel is going to light the world on fire. I don't think Dillon Gabriel. I will be shocked off my ass if Dillon Gabriel performs at a level where it's like Tom Brady or something. And I don't mean the Tom Brady we know of, but Tom Brady when he came in in his first year as a starter and he performed to such a level that you couldn't take him off the field. Like, I don't think he's going to perform at a level where it's like, damn, man, he's got this team rolling and you can't take him off the field because we're winning or something like that. I think they should at some point see what they have out of both of them. All right, to me, the way it's going, I feel like Shedeur should start 4 or 5 games and Dillon should start 4 or 5 games. So it's a weird situation. I think we see him because I think Dillon is probably not going to be great. And I think there is going to be a clamoring for him. There is going to be a push for him. And I think he does get games, but I don't know, man. It is a odd situation. And I feel bad for both of them. I do. I think both of them are in a tough spot because I could personally see, fellas, how both of them feel like they're being treated unfairly. Like, there's no way Shedeur feels like he should be sitting there in the 5th round and have been the 4th quarterback on the depth chart for years. For months. And then Dillon Gabriel obviously shouldn't feel like he ain't done nothing wrong. He got drafted in the 3rd round to a team, and he probably feels like he earned his spot and probably did. But it's some wild shit. All right, let's get a little heat check in.
All right, guys, welcome to the Heat Check, brought to you by Big O, brought to you by the Nightly Fix, brought to you by Foolish Club Media. Make sure that you like and subscribe, or we'll have to sick the rabies-infected dog that is Ron's imagination on you, okay? Today, we're talking about the end times. The end times. Last month, I came to y'all with a conspiratorial hunch based off of the movement of pop stars, or rather rap stars, as if their well-timed release schedules were some kind of astrological dog whistle for the end of days, right? And while I still feel that much hip hop star power in one summer is cosmically suspicious, all of it pales in comparison to what was ushered in to the world on 9/19/2025, a date that hip hop heads will now recognize as J Day, the day that Jay Electronica dropped not 1, not 2, but 3 full-length albums. Okay. Now, for those unfamiliar with the lore of Jay Electronica, El Padro F Electronica Allah, this is the New Orleans MC who is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. His lyricism had people believing that he was next up to be the great. He was supposed to be a great rapper, but his career got curtailed by a little bit of drug use.
Damn.
And then the love of the sultry siren by the name of Miss Erykah Badu. And if you don't know the legend of Miss Erykah Badu and her powers, it's foretold that all rappers who enter her orbit go through like an alchemical shift. So if you look at Andre 3K, he went from Outkast to playing flutes. If you look at Common, he went from like Water for Chocolate to Universal Mind Control. And if you ever listen to that album, it's a weird album. It's ahead of its time, but at the time, it was just very, 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 very strange. Okay, so Jay didn't just date Miss Badu. He had a child with her. Okay, so that changed him completely. He went from a drug-addled mystic to a complete Nation of Islam devotee and vowed never to rap again. Now, that was up until 2020, which we all know what happened in 2020, the pandemic years. After about a decade of silence, he dropped one album on March 13th, day after my birthday, but it was literally days before the entire world shut down due to a pandemic, a global pandemic, right? So is it a coincidence? I don't believe in those. Is it immaculate timing? Absolutely. And now, after 5 years, Jay's blessed us with 3 new albums full of messages on love, God, the Illuminati, aliens on Mars. And look, I've always believed everything happens for a reason and that some people are just more attuned to the universe's signals than the rest of us. And I think Jay is definitely one of it. Is this a sign? Maybe. But of what? We're just going to have to wait and find out. This is the Heat Check by Big O.
The Erykah Badu portion is really interesting. I want to take a time real quick because I'm nervous, but I'm confident. Steve, you are aware of who Erykah Badu is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I did not know who Jay Electronica was.
Oh, I have no clue who that is. I'm with you. I don't. Sounds like an interesting fella.
Look. He's like, as far as like lyrical rappers go, he is technically on the upper echelon of like lyrical rappers. His wordsmithing and wordplay are bar none. Like, he is an amazing writer, amazing rapper. But like I said, he did get into his early career. He was partying a little bit too hard. And then, like I said, he met Erykah Badu, had a child with her, and then immediately went to Nation of Islam. Started wearing the bow tie and the tux, and never rapped, stopped rapping completely. And so, like this, there is, it was kind of like a joke, like how like on the internet people will be just like, oh, we got this before we got GTA 6 because like everybody's been waiting on Grand Theft Auto 6 to happen for so long. That was kind of like the running joke with Jay Electronica. It was like, when is he going to release an album? When is he going to release an album? When he finally released an album, it was at the most inopportune moment for society to like really to receive or well receive such a masterpiece, which I do think that album's really, really good, right? But like I said, the timing is just like insane, and so like I've been saying like all summer, this has been a weird year for hip hop because we went through these years of just like, there was like the mumble rap years, and there's like the Playboy Cardi era and the Little Uzi Vert era where, in my opinion, all the music is garbage. But then like this past summer, we have like all this crazy work being released by all these really good people: Larry June, 2 Chainz, Freddie Gibbs, J.I. Chance the Rapper, two Tyler the Creator, another Tyler the Creator album. You know what I mean? Like really solid bodies of work by all these amazing young talent. And then to top it off, the cherry on the fucking weird conspiratorial cake is Jay Electronica. He doesn't ever drop anything, and now he dropped three in one weekend. Now,
I you know what, I didn't know. Now he had that thing with Joe Budden. Now I kind of remember.
Yeah, probably everybody had a thing with Joe Budden.
Yeah,
Joe Budden hates everybody.
Yeah, everybody. Very successful in the podcast space, but yeah, there's a hatred for everybody. I said that Erykah Badu thing because I had a producer on my other show had no idea who Erykah Badu was. Never heard of her.
Wow.
And not just never heard of, like they're like, what was it that I sent you guys at one time? Should I know who is it, a CDC or who was it?
Oh, CCR.
CCR.
Yeah.
I had not heard of them, but I heard the songs. My man had heard of Erykah Badu or none of the songs.
Steven, you want to hear something funny? When he said CCR, I didn't think clearance. I didn't think clearance at all. I thought like Cross Canadian Ragweed off the top. That was like the first thing that hit my head. I was like, Cross Canadian Ragweed. Why is he listening to that? That's fucking strange. And I was like, oh yeah, Clearance, whatever
Creedence
revival.
Clearwater.
Yeah, Creedence Clearwater.
But I'm proud. I'm happy that you got Erykah Badu. She is she's a special one. She's the bag lady. I'm glad I'm glad you know who that was. I was wondering.
Everybody's heard multiple CCR songs, but
oh yeah, I think
they're the number one band ever that you've heard like a bunch of their songs and you have no idea who they're by.
Are they? Because when I got into
a lot of people, yes.
When I got into the CCR thing, everybody, but I mean, the clientele that's listening to that show is a little different. But everyone was like, "Are you kidding me? You've never heard of CCR?" Like they're right up there with like bands that I've heard of, like the Stones and like, maybe not the Beatles, but up there with, the Eagles and bands like that. I said, I've heard a lot of them songs. I mean, hell, I watched Forrest Gump. I watched Remember the Titans. I've heard a lot of those songs. I said, I have never heard anyone talk of CCR, like the band.
It's crazy. Like when people find out that you don't know a band that's super popular, like I didn't hear about the Beatles until I was like maybe 17 years old or something like that, 16, 17.
Come on, that's weird, right? That's on a different level of me knowing CCR, right?
Yeah.
The Beatles,
I had heard of their music, but I just never clicked. I never like actively searched out to listen to the Beatles. Like when I was young, I was into rap, and then I had like my emo phase, and there was no in between of like of pop music. And so when I switched high schools,
no, I got a question. I got to hold up the stop sign.
yeah, okay.
I just need some clarity here. Had you heard of who the Beatles were and just not listened to their music, or are you walking around here 16, 17 years of your life not being aware of who the Beatles are? Not just not their music, but not being aware of who the Beatles are. Like there's
completely oblivious of who the Beatles are.
That's fucking insane. I'm sorry. That is like I'm not. I kid you not. What was in your textbooks? Like there was like I remember elementary. There was the Beatles.
I mean, that's just being in your own bubble, like.
I mean, in the own bubble, like that's
see
hard.
now you're treating me like they did at my new high school. Okay, I went to a new high school. They played Hey Jude. My teacher played Hey Jude, and I go, "Wow, who is this?" And everybody goes, "What do you mean, who is this?" I was just like, "Who is this? Who is this?" I don't know how many different ways I can say it. And then everybody just goes, "You never heard of the Beatles? You never heard of the Beatles?
Did you have music class?" I'm sorry, like it was like 5th, 6th, 7th grade. There were like we went through the whole run of popular music, and there was
I heard of Earth, Wind, and Fire before I heard of the Beatles. Yes, I knew.
Steve, don't come in here and justify
Berlioz and Mendel's Messiah. Classical music before I heard the Beatles. Yes, because I was in choir and I was in band. We never played any Beatles songs in either of those. I knew about the Bee Gees before I knew about the Beatles. Because we sang, "Oh, you can't tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man."
Yeah, I got Beethoven, Chopin, and then later on down, it's the Beatles. Like it's
okay. But listen, when you're young, you are a product of the bubble that you are in until you decide I'm going to go out and discover things for myself. So like growing up, a lot of the music that I listened to was what my mom made me listen to, was what my sisters wanted to listen to in the car.
Patsy Cline.
And they were not Beatles fans, Rolling Stones fans. My mom listened to Casey and the Sunshine Band and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like my sisters listened to Britney Spears. Like that was the stuff that I listened to growing up until I decided to like discover my own taste in music.
Yes, I heard of the Cranberries when I was 6, 7 years old. But no, I had never heard of the Beatles until I was 16. It's not my fault. Someone showed me the Cranberries when I was 6 years old. Okay.
I don't know what this is that you have to where you guys are, like the honeymoon period has been over. I don't know what this protection thing is. Like your whole thing is cute, what you just said. And I can agree with you upon not listening and knowing of music. But I'll be damned. Your parents weren't Thomas Jefferson fans, but you knew him. You knew who Thomas Jefferson was before 16. Your parent, like you've gone to school.
Thomas Jefferson
if they're teaching anything about the Beatles in school, it's just like the rock and roll revolution or something like that.
Serda.
But I wasn't learning about that stuff until I was in high school. I don't know where you think they were teaching about that stuff in elementary school.
Yeah, Raytown School District, which is not a great school district. I am sorry, Serda. You ran into in music class. It was an elective that you were forced to take. All the way from middle school to elementary school.
You that's ran an elementary school class. I was not forced to take that in middle
I don't
school.
care.
And all we did was sing and play fucking recorders and stuff.
Yeah, cross buns. Cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny. Hot cross buns. We didn't go. Hey Jude.
I think this is unfair of me to say, and I don't feel great about it. I think you may have been high during periods of that time in
elementary school.
Yes, in middle school and skipping school.
Definitely during middle school.
I just think it's. I think it is.
I wasn't quite there yet.
Serda, you ran into, and your parents didn't listen to it. And I can assure you, Steve, mine weren't running down the Beatles for me. You ran into the Beatles before you started driving. You ran before you were eligible to drive. You ran into the Beatles. All right.
Even on the radio back in the day, it's not like they played the Beatles 24/7 or anything like that. You're more likely to hear Night Moves Bob Seger, then you're more likely to hear Hey Jude or Let It Be or something like that on the radio, especially in the 90s.
The Beatles go past what music is being played on the radio. The Beatles were one of the biggest things in American history. Like, not even
we
just,
just started having the internet when I like for real having the internet in my teens.
I am.
How was I supposed to figure out who the Beatles were?
I want to say. I want to even try to give
dial up.
I want to try to give you
YouTube that I could find it on, Ron.
I want to give you. I want to try to give the Houston school district or whatever district that you were in the benefit of the doubt. A-Leaf, but this is you. There's no way that wasn't taught. There is no way that was that one of the biggest things in American history did not come before you. So
in American history, they're a British band. What are we talking about? They're not from here. Why would they be taught in American history when they're a British band? They're not from here.
Osita, you don't believe that the fucking Beatles had anything to do with American history in the 60s?
Are they teaching us about Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson, yes. Yes, Michael Jackson.
No, they're not teaching you about Michael Jackson in any sort of school. There is no way in hell they're teaching you about Michael Jackson in any sort of school. And they are on the same level. They are on the same exact level. That's like saying they teach you Stevie Wonder in school. They don't teach you Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
When do they teach you? They should. They should, but they don't.
Yes.
They don't.
I can distinctly remember at Raytown South. I am not at Raytown South Middle School. We had a deal where we ran through music all the way up to that time point in the late 90s, and we ran through the big every year or every decade, the big musicians that became big from Janet Jackson. Control was one of the last ones that I remember in that, to the Beatles and how, because there was a section hugely on the Beatles, and it was in my history classes. It was in my history books of the Beatles and the British invasion in middle school and in elementary school. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That shit is
your curriculum is not my curriculum, Ron. Your curriculum is not my curriculum.
It is weird. Again,
it varies from state to state, city to city, county to county.
Again, Osita, I promise you, I was not hearing about and listening to George Strait's music, but I had heard of who George Strait was before I was fucking 16. I
honestly didn't hear about George Strait until my mid-20s. And I'm from Texas. I'm from here, Ron. No clue who George Strait was until I was in my mid-20s and started going out. I was like, damn, white people really like this George Strait guy.
I just don't know why
I don't think
you're being so aggressive about the fact that Osita may have just been in his own bubble and not heard of the Beatles until high school. How have we gotten this serious about this conversation?
I just don't.
When I was in my 20s,
it's like you're offended by the idea that he might have never heard of the Beatles.
When I was in my 20s,
I believe he's lying.
I worked at a bar. I worked at a bar/venue called Limelight in San Antonio, Texas. My boss was this guy named Derek Wynn, huge musician, huge Beatles fan. I told him that I've dabbled into the Beatles, but I've never really sought out the Beatles. You know what I mean? Because even after I heard of them in high school and stuff like that, I didn't really go searching out for their music. He gave me the Beatles anthology, which was this 4-box CD set, and he goes, go home and listen to all of these as soon as you can. And I did. I went home and I listened to every single Beatles song that ever existed. But that wasn't until I was 23, 24. Okay? Look, I'm here now. I have all the musical knowledge now. I know it now. I just didn't know it then when I was a kid.
I just think there are certain things in history, American history, whatever history, that you may not know shit about, or you could be in, as Serda describes it, your own bubble. But they had such an impact, and they were so known, or this was so known, that you would have heard of it. Yeah, I'm not saying that you had listened to it. It's like Osita, I if you sit here, and I feel like you're going to sit here and do this and piss me off again. But Osita, I feel like you'd heard of Babe Ruth. right? I don't think that you were a baseball I don't think you're a baseball person now. I don't know that you were a baseball person growing up. I feel like pretty early on in life, you had heard of who Babe Ruth was. And you could have not been. We can go and ask somebody who doesn't know anything about sports who has heard of Babe Ruth, because Babe Ruth is just forever has been a major part of just history of somebody that you know. Now, hell, maybe you don't know Barry Bonds, or maybe you don't know Hank Aaron, but you know who Babe Ruth is.
Yeah,
Like,
because I saw Sandlot, the Sultan of SWAT, the Colossus of Clout, or whatever the hell they said.
That's a good one. Maybe you don't know who George Wallace is, but you like maybe you don't know him. But you know Martin Luther the King, and I will play the King, right? Like there are just certain guys that maybe you're not into politics, but you know.
Is George Wallace that old black guy that I've seen on like he's like an old.
Listen, I just want to tell you, you're failed right off the bat with old black.
Yeah. Okay.
No, George Wallace is not black. Again, like I could hear you say you're in your own bubble about George Wallace. I get that. But there are just certain things and events and people. Like when we think of music, yes, music was covered in school at an early age. Obviously, it's in there. There's like Beethoven, right? Everybody, I don't listen to a lot of Beethoven. Who Beethoven was early, because in history, he's a big figure.
You're a Beethoven fan? Name 3 songs.
I'm not a Beethoven fan.
I thought you knew about Beethoven then.
I know who he is.
But if you know who he is, you could name 3 songs.
No, that's not the case. Anyway, you're being silly right now, and you know the point that I'm making. I'm just telling you, the Beatles in American history are like one of those marks of things of like, that's a big event. That's a big thing that most people know about before they drive. That was born in the 80s, which I know you were. I am certain of it. I pray that you were born in the 80s.
I was born in 91, son.
Damn it.
91, 1991.
Like right now,
for me.
Like right now, there are some people in backwoods wherever. They know who Tupac is. They've heard of Tupac. They may have not heard one song. They probably heard of Tupac. All right. They're just certain.
Now
people.
We're in a much more connected world than we ever were, Ron. I used to have to download driving directions and print them out. I wasn't driving, obviously, because I was a child. But MapQuest was a thing. That's what most of the internet was used for. It was Ask Jeeves and MapQuest. Those are the 2, and emails. That was it. The 3 top things that were used on my home computer. You know what I mean? And there was no YouTube. There was no Wikipedia at the time. I couldn't go do deep research on my own about music or anything like that. I was a slave to MTV. MTV wasn't playing the Beatles around that time.
Serda, I want you to answer me this question honestly. Do you believe that it is equal that if a person has heard of Muhammad Ali, that you would think a person has heard of the Beatles? Like sure. That those are on the same level, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like you may have not seen any boxing, you've heard of Muhammad Ali because it was such a huge figure.
Yeah, but when was the last Beatles movie put out? I'll wait.
Yesterday. That was a
Beatles biopic.
It was a movie centered around the Beatles.
Yeah. Well, before that, anything? No. But we had Ali played by who? Will Smith. Okay. We had that movie. We had that biopic.
Did you just move the goalposts right in the middle of that? Did you just ask me when's the last Beatles movie there was? I gave it to you and did say, yeah, but when was the one before that? Is that what you just did?
But I'm okay because Ali came out when I was a kid. I was a kid when Ali came out.
Aren't they making like a 4-part dramatic Beatles thing where like there's going to be one movie for each Beatles person?
No clue.
I think
but
that's
it's about damn time.
I think that's something that's like happening, and it's like a 4-part thing, and they're going to release it like simultaneously.
Because
Like,
this movie that Ron decided to name drop so unceremoniously is actually a movie about the Beatles never even existing.
I enjoyed it.
It's a world where they don't exist.
I enjoyed it. And he came up and invented, and people thought, wow, look at this. And it transferred to today. It is just very odd, man. It is. I mean, I found out of John Lennon in school and his death in school. That's how I found out about John Lennon. Anyway, I do want to get to this because this was a big story I think we need to address. Nafisa Collier, who I believe got hosed and should have been the MVP of the WNBA. Her team was the number 1 seed. They were the best team all year. She had an injury in the semis against the Mercury, and her coach lost it on the foul that they didn't call on her. Now, if you go back and look at it, I think it was actually a good call. I think she just got hurt on it. But her coach got suspended. She went off as well in her press conference, and they've lost. She had her exit interview with the media yesterday, and she had a prepared statement. It went on for over 4 minutes, but this was the big part. She came and not only attacked the WNBA for their officiating, but mostly about the leadership. And in particular, she talked about the Kathy, what's her name? Eggelbert, whatever. She talked about the commissioner and came at her specifically. This is what she said in her exit interview that has caused waves around the sports world.
I'm not ready.
He's not ready. God, boy, I thought I set that up nicely, man. I
See it every
damn
night.
it.
Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence. At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's a mentality driving our league from the top. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them.
Jesus Christ. She also went on to say, we have the best players in the world and the best fans in the world, except for the dildo throwers, but the best fans in the world, but we have the worst leadership in the world. I mean, and that's saying a lot. There is some questionable leadership in the world. And she said, oh, Kathy is the worst. There's a couple of things that jump out to me. One, I don't know about you, Serda. I've never heard a player, especially an active player, just come at the boss, the commissioner, the way she did. And it wasn't, and I mean, this wasn't off the cuff. This was a prepared statement that she came out and said. And then the other part that I'm a little diced on is those were clearly private conversations that she had with the commissioner. And Unrivaled was months ago, like earlier in the year, like 8 months ago. And she picked this time to come out with those private conversations, you know, brought Caitlin and Paige Beckers and Angel Reese into it and said they ought to be, Caitlin ought to be on her knees thanking her that the WNBA gave her the platform. What the fuck are you talking about? And then that the players ought to be on their knees thanking her for the rights deal that she got them. And then, yeah, bad officiating. Only losers complain about bad officiating. By the way, everyone complains about the WNBA officiating. Their league is more physical than men's basketball at any level. It is insane what happens if you watch the sport every night. I'll be honest, fellas. Usually, like, I think it's kind of messed up when you bring private conversations private conversations that somebody had that they thought was between you and them, And then I think it's even more messed up when you wait months and months and months and you sit on it and then you bring it out. But I think there are occasions when you have to do shady and shisty things in the world to get what you want to get. There are times where you have to break rules or break laws. I'm not going to go in too deep, but there are moments in history, world history, American history, where some people believe they were wrong so much that they had to break whatever laws there were or do things that they weren't supposed to do to get their point across. And sometimes that is warranted and sometimes that is needed. And Caitlin Clark makes $70,000 a year from her WNBA contract. That's insane. And yes, I think it's messed up that she held this in the holster and waited till right now. But
Bro, it is the most toxic ex-girlfriend thing I have ever seen in my life. I'm sorry that it's.
And by the way, her husband runs the Unrivaled League. So this is the other league that are doing leagues similar to the WNBA in this country. Her husband is the commissioner. So as she says in it, I know exactly how this stuff is run and the responsibilities of what needs to be done. Like, by the way, if Kathy said these things, which I got no reason to believe she didn't, and by the way, every player has backed her. If Kathy said these things, she is wild, Judge. Wild. How delusional do you have to be that Angel, Caitlin, and Paige, especially Angel and Caitlin, they ought to be on their knees? No, you ought to be on your knees that they have come into this league and given you the ability to have this. Like, it is wild if she said those things. But I don't know, man. I'm not going to say. I think Nafisha was probably wrong and out of line for bringing up private conversations they clearly had together. But I think in this case, I understand why she felt like she had to do it.
Yeah, I definitely understand why she thinks that she had to do it.
She had it. She's had it.
Yeah, but and I do agree with her. Like, honestly, I do agree with her that they should be paid a lot more for their work and the officiating. If it is apparent to everyone else that there's a lack of actual solid officiating going on, then there needs to be something done. But taking private conversations, man, taking a private convo, and airing out dirty laundry like that, that's wild to me. Wild to me. Like, quote for quote, too. Quote for quote.
That's definitely how you burn bridges.
Yeah,
but I kind of like
who burned it? Who burned it though? Who burned it?
I think she did by announcing it to the world like that. But it doesn't mean that the commissioners doesn't suck and isn't like a scumbag.
Which, I mean, if those quotes are real, she obviously is. Like,
yeah, which I think, but I think a lot of these people think that way because they're like, it's a business, we're making money, and we're all about our profit and bottom line and whatever. But like, I do think that airing it all out like that, like, I want to see how this plays out because they're out here, they deserve to get paid more. It's a joke how little money they're making, even though their profits have increased like hundreds of % because of how successful the WNBA has become in the last several years. But the fact that hasn't dramatically increased the players' benefits for being in the league and being the reason that it has gained so much popularity is comical. Like, it's a total joke. So I kind of wish we would see more stuff like this unfold because I feel like in other major sports, like, all of this stuff happens behind the scenes and we never actually hear like how that stuff actually unfolds.
See, like you said, she's burned bridges. I think obviously she's not LeBron of this. We know who the LeBron is of this. There are certain players I don't think can burn bridges. like at this point. Like there are certain players who have a level of power that by the way, she's the vice president of the Players Association also. Nafisha is. There are certain players that, hey, you're the one who's going to be screwed if they're saying these things about you, right? Like if LeBron or Steph came out at Adam Silver's going to be the one that has to go. Not them. He's going to be the one that has to go, especially if the rest. So Asia Wilson backing her last night in her press conference after they stole the win against Indiana last night, that was a big thing for the players. By the way, here's Kathy and her statement. She released a statement. She said, "I have the utmost respect for Nafisha Collier and for all the players in the WNBA. Together, we have all worked tirelessly to transform this league. My focus remains on ensuring a bright future for the players of the WNBA, including collaborating on how we can continue to elevate the game. I am disheartened by how Nafisha characterized our conversation and league leadership, but even with our perspectives differ, my commitment is to the players, and this work will not waver." So your ass did not deny that you said any of those things. Clearly, right? Like, and so to me, I'm coming out and denying all of that, Jack. I did not say that about Caitlin, even if I did. I did not say that about Caitlin.
He's like, I will lie. I will straight lie to your face. That's what I will do.
Hey, man, she's the one that's coming to the negotiation table. I mean, if you said that and you have what'd you say earlier, Osita, you only get one chance to make a first impression. You only get one chance to respond to this the first time. And your response said, I don't like the way how she characterized our conversation. You didn't deny the fact that you said that these players should be on their hands and knees twice for what the WNBA and what you have done for them. Like, yeah. You're coming to the table, and you're the one.
I was half expecting like her to kind of deny those allegations in the first place. Like that conversation never happened. I don't know what she's talking about. She's crazy.
I would have released a statement. I'd have come out and released a statement, and I would have suspended her. I would have really let you know, not man, you ain't gonna do this, and this is a lie. I don't know, man. I think Kathy's in trouble when it comes to this, because the best player in the league has jumped in, and there's two players left, and I'm certain one of them is going to address things, although she's in a little trouble with her own team and Angel. But let Caitlin come out and say, I stand with everything Nafisha said. Oh, Kathy. And I would be inclined to think that's probably the way Caitlin would go. This is a crazy situation. I have never heard somebody come out and just torch the league and the front office like that. And there are people have been mad at Roger Goodell over the years, Serda, and you know it. People have been mad at David Stern and the human penis, Adam Silver, Bud Tagliabue, Bud Selig. I didn't put two commissioners' names together. Gary Bettman. Ain't nobody come out here and done this. She said, we got the best players in the world, the best fans in the world. We have the worst leadership in the world. And that lady didn't come back to defend any of it. That bitch is fried.